Welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are your hosts sharing our crazy lives here on the ranch with you.
We're husband and wife, and we're going to chat with y'all about what's happening here at the ranch, in the world, and whatever else we're fixating on.
And our goal is to share our journey, some laughs, and maybe we'll all learn a little something along the way too.
Welcome to Happy Hour podcast, and buckle up.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. I am ridiculously excited to have somebody super special on the show today who I also call a friend, but is an incredible human being in general, as well as someone that I just think is such a beautiful spirit when it comes to living, yoga, teaching, and all the things. So welcome, Casie. I'm so glad you're here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on here, Shannon.
Yes. And okay, I'm a little jealous because I'm on the ranch, which the ranch is beautiful. It's all good, but I'm inside working on my computer and you've got this gorgeous backdrop of Johnson. It's Johnson Park, right?
Johnson Park in Marble Falls. Yeah. I actually frequently come here on my morning runs after dropping my middle schooler off. I'll park the car and then just go on a quick run before I have to go teach in Spicewood. So
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yep. Thank you.
It's
yeah,
so
I thought it was a good spot. Nice backdrop, get some sunshine.
Especially what we can, because Texas weather is so damn emotional. I feel like ever since I moved back to Texas, it's been like you hear the never been extreme or record breaking or all these things, and I'm like, okay, could we be done with the record breaking and all?
Yeah, can we just have like normal crazy, not over the top, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely causing, allowing us to have opportunities to stay present.
That is a very, very, very good way of looking at it rather than bitching about it, because one, we can't change it anyway. And two, we can only react to it and we can choose to let it get us down or we can just go with it. So, which, speaking of being able to go with the flow, you know what, before we get into what I'm super, super excited about, not that I'm not excited about who you are as a person, but can you just share with everyone who you are and what you do and just a little bit about you?
Absolutely. So, I am Casie Hall and I am owner of Nectar Flow Yoga Studio in Spicewood, Texas. I opened about 6.5 years ago. It'll be 7 years in July. And been practicing yoga for over 20 years, started right out of college. And I was an athlete in college, ran track, and just decided I did not want to compete anymore, but I still wanted to do something physical. And I think a lot of people are drawn to yoga for the physical aspect of it. And pretty quickly, if you're practicing with the right people and in the right way, learn that it's about so much more than just moving your body. And so, of course, you get that benefit and there's a fitness element, but I would say immediately fell in love with that intangible that yoga offers. And I was at the time already teaching school. My first job was teaching kindergarten. And so I had a kindergarten internship and I started practicing, and it kept me so grounded in the face of what was a really challenging job. And so I continued to teach school. After my first year interning with kindergarten, I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. I'm going to teach middle and high school. So I did that for 7 years. I taught middle and high school in Texas, up in Dallas area. And then in California, I taught at an all boys school. Moved back to Texas and got my master's degree in education. Kind of thought I might go on the path of administration or curriculum writing, and was teaching at Lake Travis High School here locally. And then I got pregnant with my first daughter. And I was like, I don't really want to teach school anymore. Oh, I'm dropping my phone. Whoops, hang on. I lost you. So I kind of decided I didn't want to teach school anymore and took a break from work, raised her, helped my husband open not one, but 2 restaurants. And then midway through that process is like, all right, it's time. I want to do my yoga teacher training and kind of combine the 2 loves that I have, love for yoga and for teaching, with the kind of mindset in the long range that I really did want to teach teachers. Because in my master's program, I started finding, yes, I love teaching and I love that, but I really love teaching about how to teach and what the best practices are for people to teach and for people to learn. And so finding that niche in my education world in my advanced degree and then melding that with yoga, kind of said, okay, my long-term goal is to have a teacher training program, to have a studio and create space in a small community and start leading retreats. And that, is one way that you and I met, but also we met because we're both moms.
Hey, it's Shannon here. Do you want to know my number one secret to feeling good, including helping to ease my anxiety and stress? Yoga. I know, don't roll your eyes. But seriously, one of the best things I did for myself over a decade ago was delve deep into the rich yoga philosophy, history, and practices, which provided some incredible tools for healthy living, as well as inviting so much peace and joy into my life. And at the time, I had no intention of teaching yoga. I did it purely for me, to find love and acceptance of myself and the world around me, and I did. Of course, the training can also help if you want to then share the gift of yoga with others. All that to say, did you know that we now offer a yoga teacher training, including a 100% online option so that you can go completely at your own pace? Our online platform is bursting with so many incredible resources, including videos, workbooks, templates, and more. Plus, we have optional weekly live sessions and the ability to add on a 4-day in-person retreat right here at the ranch. Not to mention, you get access to the content for life, including our graduates who get to continue to attend the live sessions, if they want, to get CE credits too. So with affordable pricing, a convenient monthly payment option if you like, and the ability to go at your own pace, this is seriously the perfect time to join a community of incredible support, love, and learning. I did it for me, and I'd love to see you do it for you. To find out more, visit mindbodycomplete.com, then click trainings right at the top.
Yes. Yeah. And our kids they were going to elementary school together, and now of course they're going to middle school together. And so that's originally how we met. And then, we found out what we do. We have like-minded passions, and I don't know, it's just been super cool to see the things that you're creating and what you're doing, especially with your teacher training. Like, you just finished your first cohort. I think you're starting your second cohort. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one I did as an intensive in the fall, and it was a great small group. Everybody had something different to bring to the table. And it was a nice entry for me to introduce my curriculum, which, as you know, is so, it's a piece of your soul, right? It's so labor intensive and so challenging to create. And so to be able to share that with a small group was fantastic. And so now I'm looking to teach to a larger group. I start with a weekend modular session, begins at the end of this month. And so
awesome.
In this training, I really focus on the fact that each trainee comes in many ways with a skill set, with a background, with a life that they can bring to their teaching. In some ways they're already teach, because really, as you know, yoga is about connection. It's about living life. It's about being present. And so if we can tap into what we already know, we're ahead of the game. And so kind of understanding that, and then taking, as kind of I talked about in one of the modules with you, taking it to say, okay, I'm not here to deliver yoga to my students. I'm here to receive the students that are in front of me and scaffold or structure my instruction for what they need, not what I want to teach them. So really a responsive and adaptable style of yoga. And I am vinyasa based. So, we're going to get some of that strength in the training, and some of that power yoga element that's in a lot of the vinyasa classes. But I also offer chair yoga and yin and a lot of different ways to diversify that.
I love it. And I love too that you're teaching from where your passion is. I think that's one thing that a lot of people, especially in the yoga world and new yoga teachers, you probably see this, whether it's through your YTT program or whatever, is people teach the way they think it should look versus what they are comfortable with and who they are. I'll never forget an old mentor of mine years and years and years ago. I was getting my SUP yoga certification, and I was leading the stand-up paddleboard at this lake, and I'm leading the class for my certification. And at some point I was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk the way I talk. And I'm pretty raw. I'm pretty who I am. And I just remember her afterwards going, Shannon, I felt the click when you said, okay, I'm not going to try to sound like someone else teaching. I'm just going to teach how I am. And I don't know, there's magic that happens when you show up as who you are and living yoga, who you are. And it doesn't have to look like the vegan, the misconception I think that is out there on what every yogi looks like, or what every person who practices yoga looks like is, or acts like, or sounds like, or whatever. Yep. And so, just showing up with who you are, being authentic to who you are in the yoga space, I think that alone is such a great environment.
It really is. And I think, you know, that point is so strong. And we talk in trainings about like, oh, you're dropping into yoga teacher voice. Where is, you know, who's there beneath? And that's nerves coming out for new teachers and just, but I think too, getting really clear on who you are is a big part of a 200-hour training. And so sometimes that self inquiry is a really important aspect. And we do a lot of that and intertwine it with the yoga philosophy. And I think, you know, I know your training obviously has elements of it, but I think there are a lot of trainings out there that don't get into that history and that philosophy that is so critical for really doing this right.
I so agree. And I actually tell people, so I took 200 hours and then I took my 300 hours later. But the first time I took my 200-hour training, I did it just for me. I had no intention of teaching. I just wanted to deepen my own practice. I wanted to learn the richness of yoga, as well as, you know, just tapping into different aspects of it so I could deepen my own practice. And it was such a self-exploration. I mean, to me, it was more of a self-exploration than, you know, how to properly get into a pose, which, by the way, that's all important. I'm just saying in general, it was more of a self-exploration. Like I felt like I was equipping myself with such incredible tools to live. I don't like using the word balance too much because balance is fluid and that, you know, changes, but we'll just, for this sake of this conversation, a more balanced life, and just to be able to invite more peace in into my life. I felt like I got more of that than anything else in my first 200. The second 200 I took so that I could teach and like to remember the actual mechanics of it and to apply it in my clinical practice when I did a lot of one-on-one yoga with my clients and making sure that I kept them safe and stuff. But I feel like a big chunk of it is self-exploration.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, I think to that point, the 200-hour, particularly for people that don't have a really long standing practice, it's an introduction, you know, and it's a lot of hours, but I think it's the first time that people really go, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know about myself, about my students, about this really ancient form of philosophy and movement and a way of life. And so I might, you know, it's like, okay, well, you guys have just graduated, you've just opened a door. That's all you've done. And now there's so much more learning ahead of you.
That's it. Oh my gosh. I tell students all the time too, because there's so much information. You take the best, you leave the rest, whatever's not really resonating with you that is, you know, just focus on that. And then also know that you're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to learn, but it is a great introduction. So I'm so excited for you. If someone wants to join your YTT, how do they do that?
First step would probably be to visit the website, which is nectarflowyoga.com. It has all my contact information, has all the dates and details on that. We are offering it partially online. And then if one weekend can't be in person or even two, we're offering that as an option to attend online as well. But we are hoping for about 60% of in-person attendance. Since it's weekend based and it's just all day Saturday, all day Sunday, one weekend a month, my hope is that folks from a little bit further away could potentially take the trip, whether it's a drive or a short flight, and be able to make it happen. And if that were the case, I could help, you know, there is a red wasp hanging out right by me. The benefits of being in the park. So, you know, I could help arrange airport transport and all that. But yeah, and then from there, first weekend is 25th and 26th of March, or whatever that Saturday, Sunday is, 24th, 25th, that last full weekend in March. So coming up in just a few weeks, which I'm like, it's already here. It's
already here. Okay, awesome. Well, anybody who's listening to this, if you're at all within driving distance of like the Austin area, or even a short flight or a long flight, honestly, Casie is so worth it. She's been a guest speaker on our YTT program several times, and by far she's one of our favorite sought after guest speakers. Her content is super rich, not to mention her energy and personality makes it just that much more incredible. So check it out. And speaking of incredible energy and things that are needed, you are doing a retreat that has been sought after, at least I know from my past clients and just people that ask all the time, whether they're asking us at the ranch or just in general, they're asking for a particular retreat that now you are offering here at the ranch. Tell us about it. I'm so excited.
So this will be the inaugural mother-daughter retreat, and it is for a very specific age group. So we're looking at, you know, after really thinking about it and talking through with some specialists that are joining me, there's this window of time, and you have daughters this age, you really are in it and know where our daughters are kind of coming into that teen tween age, and they are no longer little girls, but they're not ready to be women yet. And we have this window as moms to connect with them, to I mean, kind of like use it or lose it, right? And we're starting to lose that somatic connection. So how can we foster a deeper bond with our daughters at an age where they really need us, but they might be pushing us away? And I think that yoga, as I'm pretty sure you agree with, just offers a fantastic tool for us as moms to ground ourselves, to be present and aware, and then find a connection with our daughters. And in that, we're going to be doing some group sessions. It's a 2-day or 2-night, 3-day yoga retreat at Retreat Ranch. Really excited to go back. It's a perfect space for it, where we get to be in nature, but super comfortable, luxurious lodging, unplugged from devices, no TVs. We are not, relying on the things that as working moms, we constantly have to rely on because we are trying to do it all. But if we step away and get a chance to really invest this time and invest in our daughters, we're going to connect with them more. So small group yoga, large group yoga, with mothers and daughters together. There will be some times where I'll be teaching just the moms, and the daughters are actually going to be working with yoga therapists and an art therapist to do some self-discovery, some confidence building, dream board building. So it's the idea of like connection through confidence. For us, confidence in ourselves as moms, for the daughters, confidence in themselves as they become young women, and then connecting through that confidence and being confident in our relationship with each other. So that's kind of the idea. And we have a lot of really cool activities planned to make that happen.
Hey guys, it's Shannon. I'm just going to interrupt for just a second to ask you for a big favor. Will you pause right now and go leave us a review if you haven't already? Or if you're not subscribed, maybe click that little plus button. We are so appreciative.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So same concept. If they were interested in it, they go to your website to find that information.
Correct. Yes.
So question, if someone's local, can they do like a local thing where they don't stay here? Or do they have to stay on that?
I haven't looked into that, although, that might be an option. One thing I would say about that is we are creating space for the mothers and daughters. And unlike my previous retreat where I let people come in for an afternoon or an evening or even just the sound bath, this is where we're really trying to create a culture of sorts. And even though it's only 3 short days, I feel like, making sure that there aren't new folks walking into a situation or a small group session, that there's already been relationships built. So yes, but it would be a commitment to coming for the entire time.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because I agree. As much as I love the flexibility of people dropping in for a day or whatever, and in a fun retreat, that's totally great. But in this type of retreat, not that it's not fun, but there's also some like inner work that's happening, some connection that's happening. I think that there would need to be, I agree with you, it would be beneficial for you guys as facilitators and the other guests for them to be committed to coming the whole time, even if they're sleeping offsite.
Absolutely. And so, I would absolutely be open to that. And maybe you and I can chat more about the structure of that and how that's worked for you in the past.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I'm over here thinking, even for me and my girls, that maybe we would want to attend as day guests, and be committed to the whole process as well, because I think the girls would get a lot out of it. So I know you, and I know how you put things together, and I know it's going to be a quality retreat, not just a quality retreat, but just a deep, meaningful, connective retreat. And so I'm super excited about it. People have been asking about it. I'm glad to have you on here to chat about it.
Absolutely.
And if you guys are interested, you can go to nectarflowyoga.com. You can also find it on the retreatranch.com and click on retreats. It's there, it's linked as well. But to get straight to the source, go to nectarflowyoga.com. And if you have questions, you can reach out to Casie, and I'm sure that she'll be happy to answer those questions. What is the age group?
So I'm kind of doing approximately age 10 to age 15. So, if I have a 9-year-old that's going to be 10 within the next 6 to 8 months, or a really mature 9-year-old, I would absolutely consider that. And I have somebody that's looking at joining us that is going to be 16, 17 later in the year. And the mom just said, this is perfect for us. And I think my daughter will really be into it. So I'm fine with that. What I don't want is, an 18-year-old that's ready to go off to college, that's already really kind of hit that adulthood phase, and that is going to, we've all been 18-year-olds, right? The eye roll, the, kind of shunning, this isn't cool. we're going to get that because we are in that teen and tween age range. And the three of us that are facilitating it are all ex-middle school teachers, middle and high school teachers. So we have experience in dealing with that sort of attitude. But that being said, it tends to get a little deeper as the kids get older, you know, a little harder to work with. And so, you know, as moms, know your daughter. And if you feel like it's a fit, absolutely. And I will say it's funny, you know, I have a age group of women in my studio that are hearing about this retreat as I talk about it and as I've promoted it in emails, and they're like, can you do one with adult daughters and moms? And like, that one's next. It's going to be moms and daughters, where you come with your adult daughter and or, you know, as an adult, you bring your mom, and we'll do some similar activities. Cause honestly, we're all kids at heart. Like, I like painting rocks. I like going on labyrinth walks.
Yes,
so I think it would, you know, it might be something that we expand, seeing how this first one goes.
I think that you absolutely should. Probably every single one of my retreats, there's at least one set of mother-daughter that comes. And so I think that would be a whole nother, you know, I hate to use the word demographic, but we'll use demographic that, you know, that would really appeal to. But I do love and I appreciate the fact that you're targeting, for this first one at least, I feel like critical age. It's such a critical age in development. It's such a critical age in the connection between the mother and the daughter. I feel like this is about the age when things start to get a little shaky and there could be a massive disconnect that can last for quite a while. And so being able to put them with this experience that will help bond them, help give them a voice, a respectful, loving voice for each other, I think is just, I don't know. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait.
I am too. And I think too, you know, it's also about moms connecting with other moms in a space where we can talk in a real way about the struggles that we have and have a functional conversation. And the daughters can talk to each other about, these are the challenges that I have with my mom, whether it's fighting over your room being clean or bigger issues that our daughters face at this age.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. All right. Well, everything will be linked in the show notes. So if anyone is interested, grab the link down below, reach out in any way to ask questions. Can't wait to have you back, Casie. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'm just very grateful for everything you've built and the vision that you have and how it's all coming together. So I really appreciate all that you've done and all the energy you bring to your work.
Oh, thank you, girl. Big love for you, sister.
Same. All right. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Hour Podcast. If you'd like to learn more, visit us online at www.happyhourpodcast.org.
And you're welcome.